Have a call to order, please, and I want to thank everyone for attending this evening's meeting. This is the final meeting of the year for the Strabane Township Board of Supervisors, and it's always appreciated when people attend our meetings and work with us. Roll call. Fourth supervisor present in the building. Mr. Burns is present through the Zoom situation over there. Hi, Mr. Burns. He'll be working that way through us through the entire agenda. We also have our township manager available tonight and our solicitor, assistant to the manager, and we have our police chief, fire chief, code enforcement. There's a fireman here and our old engineer, Mike. Good to see you, buddy. Okay, very good. Okay, would you please stand for the pledge of allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, next on the agenda, public comment time. The Township Board of Supervisors allocates a period of time on this item for those individuals who like the opportunity to address the Board of Supervisors on any matter. Excuse me, folks. Each person addressing the Board of Supervisors has to limit their comments to a maximum of 3 minutes. Before we ask anyone if they want to participate in public comments, I have a message I want to read for the record and also to for the media this evening. This is an alert to Township residents. An underground newsletter entitled South Strabane News, authored and published by Wildcat, is attempting to undermine South Strabane Township government. This newsletter is dedicated or predicated on innuendo and uninformed opinion. Wildcat, an inept and sullen writer, has a penchant for yellow journalism. Resident or not, Wildcat does not speak for our township. Our township staff is always available to answer any and all concerns and questions. And just a little postscript for Wildcat. I don't know who Wildcat is. I don't know where Wildcat is. But this holiday season, I would just say, may Wildcat find peace, humility, and a civil tongue. Having said that, now, is there anyone else who would like to speak this evening? Yes, ma'am.
I apologize in advance for being emotional. My name is Patricia Gould. I am the property manager of Thomas Campbell Apartments. In 3 days, it'll be our 1-year anniversary from our tragedy. I know no one likes tax increases, including myself, but I live every day with the fact that I no longer have one of my residents. Had we had a 24/7 fire department at that time, she may still be here with us. I commend the fire department throughout the city who were there that day, who assisted us the best that they could. I commend the township for now implementing a 24/7 fire department. It's one of the best decisions I think you've made in my lifetime. I'm a South Strabane resident. I live on Van Station Road. Luckily, I've never had to have the fire department come to my house, but they've been to my second home, which is my property. I've been here for 13 years. So the residents are my family. So any tax increase, no matter what it means, that will help our fire department, our police department, make them better, make our township better. I'm 100% for if it saves even one more life.
Thank you very much for that, for those words, very kind words. Anyone else to speak to? Judy.
Judy Fassett, Green Crescent Drive. I respect that what our fire department does is important, and I know a lot of people that have used them over the years. I know our volunteers have been absolutely outstanding and very devoted to this township. And though I can understand saying about the wanting an increase, I've seen on people pointed out to me what that's going to be and what you're looking at. And I've talked to lots of residents, and I just think if it's what it says online, that it's potentially for a $200,000 home, a $400 a year increase, that's a lot of money. And I don't know any residents that are standing behind that right now that I've talked to. This township has insane mercantile tax. We should be bringing in money like crazy. 6-7 years ago, we had a surplus of money, and now we don't have that surplus. We're spending money on things left and right. Developers are coming in, and I was just at the planning meeting where they said that they had one of the members had talked to Brandon, and because you guys approved Meadows Landing, that then backed out the next month, and now we're stuck with the cost of a sewage project. And the person on planning said that they asked Brandon and that they were told that is now the responsibility of the township residents, like it's gonna be our tax money. So if we quit wasting money in other places, you could divert it over there. I'm not against helping the fire department, but times are tough. People are in a really rough period, and I talked to a lot of seniors in this township. And, you know, the homes may have gone up in value with the last reassessment. That does not mean that their incomes have. A lot of people are having trouble paying their school taxes and just paying their heating bills. They cannot afford another $400 a year bill for this township. We've lived without it for years. Our volunteers have been just phenomenal on raising money and not needing to do that. And I don't understand why you're still not working more with them to get that money. If they're able to bring in money every year and you can go through them, why you're not doing that and putting the possible burden on the township residents with another big tax. Thank you.
Judy?
Yeah.
How many years have you been come to township meetings?
Since 2005,
2005. Why do you do it?
because I'm here for the residents, because I'm here to help and make sure that for my own family, the standard of living, Bob, and also for the taxes. And a lot of residents don't know what's going on. You know, I went to school for stuff like this. I have gone to school board meetings. I go to county commissioner meetings. I don't just come to township meetings, but everything in our life in this township starts at these meetings. And I learned that in 2005. And I realized somebody has to pay attention, because if we don't, then the right thing's gonna happen. And I've helped multiple people get on this board who tend to forget or make promises that they're gonna stand up and do the right thing. And I never see it happen.
Judy, do you feel this is a good township here to live in?
Honestly, I find it interesting, Bob. We're not allowed to ask you guys questions and you asking me questions. I don't know if I feel comfortable with
Don't
that.
answer, just say you don't.
I don't want to answer that then.
Okay, thank you very much, yeah. Okay, let's move on, please. Anyone else? Public comments? Okay, let's move on to the meeting minutes for the informational meeting minutes for October 24th, 2022. Need a motion to approve, please. Thanks, Mr. Murphy. Need a second? Thanks, Mr. Lukatich. Any further discussion? All those in favor of approving the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Motion carried. Mr. Burns, I got you. Okay, 5-0. Meeting minutes for, regular meeting minutes for November 22nd, 2022. Need a motion to approve. Thank you, Mr. Lincoln. Need a second from Mr. Murphy. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Number 5. Judy. Conducting business.
Sorry, Bob. I was giving her a compliment. Sorry.
Financial business, approval payroll for the periods November 13th through November 26th, 2022, and November 27th through December 10th, 2022, and bills for the period November 19th through December 16th, 2022. Need a motion, please.
So moved.
Thanks, Mr. Murphy. Need a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Lukatich. Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Number 6, announcements and recognition. I'd like to report that we had executive sessions. Let me get this on December 6th, 13th, and the 20th, before the meeting this evening, of course, concerning personnel and litigation. And also, I'd like to recognize some 22 recognition here, 2022 recognition, a special tribute to our Township Police, Township Fire Department, and our Township Public Works. Special tribute to Police Chief Drew Hilt and his officers, detectives, and Cindy, who's also the police clerk. And I'd just like to take a moment and ask Mr. Chief Hilt, please stand up, and I want to congratulate you and your department and your detectives on a monumental event today. And I'm very happy about it. I'm sure you are too. Do you want to talk about it, or you can't talk about it?
Sure, no, I'm okay. Thank you. And if you didn't see the news today, our detectives this morning made an arrest in the 2013 murder of Vinnie Kelly. been a long investigation, a long 10 years. So we want to really thank the family and the community for their patience, the sticking by us, their support through all this. We never lost sight of it. We never stopped. When something came in, we chased it. We chased it hard. I promise. Those 2 detectives that made that arrest today were the same 2 officers that responded that day and worked that case. So they never lost sight of it. They met with me regularly. They met with family. They stayed in contact with family. Again, they chased. When they had something to chase, they chased it hard. They chased it full time. And the last few months that panned out. Made a good solid arrest today, and we hope that the community and the family feel some sense of justice, with the arrest. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I'm just going to a big relief for our township, a big relief. And thank you very, very much. You're an outstanding, as far as I'm concerned, you're an outstanding police chief, and you have an outstanding police department up there. And I thank you for that. Okay, next also I want to point out that our new fire chief, Jordan Kramer, and his career of volunteer firefighters, once again, another outstanding group, and they're growing every day, and they're improving every day, and they're doing good things. And I'm very proud of them also, and I'm very thankful to Jordan for your leadership in the fire department. And I don't want to go in a year here like this, not give you credit for what you're doing. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
And keep it going into the next year. All you guys do a good job, because I think you do outstanding work also. That's from me. I'm sure the board feels that way too. They want to speak up, they can. Also, I want to, my colleague here, Roadmaster Russ Grego, and his public works employees, once again, that's our 3rd department, not in descending order. That's also a very strong department, takes care of our township very well. I know you're used to them clearing the roads and so forth, but they do a lot of other things to take care of our township. I would be remiss if I didn't mention the road crew, the police, and the fire department. 3 outstanding departments. You can put feathers in all your caps for what you do, and I know I've been very happy with you, and I like this, and I like what's going on. Personally, I like what's going on. Okay, and I want to give you a big thanks. I have a little statement here. Thanks for the excellent service to our residents and our entire township. We are fortunate to have 3 departments that ensure our health, safety, and welfare. And once again, well done. Also, I want to take a moment here for another announcement this evening, since it's the end of the year. Also, a special thanks to my fellow board members for the time and effort they give to the township. We don't always agree on everything, on the issues, but we work in a collegial way to ensure our township remains a great place to live. And I want to thank each and every one of them, Mr. Bracken Burns on Zoom, Mr. Rich Lukatich, Mr. Mark Murphy, Mr. Russ Grego, and I want to thank them. And as chairman this year, they give you tremendous support. They back you up, and they help you muddle through these situations. And for the most part, we're doing the right thing. Every now and then some people might question, but we do the right thing. We take good care of this township. And I'm very proud to be part of this township. I moved there in 2009 because it was a good township. It's even a better township now, as far as I'm concerned. I think very highly of it. Okay. And while I'm still on announcement, one final thing. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to all, in case I forget at the end. We'll be adjourned, okay? So there. Brandon, do you have any other announcements for the town on behalf of the township?
Yes, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Just a reminder that the office, non-emergency offices will be closed on Monday and Tuesday in observance of the day after Christmas.
Okay, is that it? That's it. Okay, let's move on. Number 7, township reports and presentations. And the first one is municipal separate storm sewer system, MS4 report. The Board of Supervisors allocates a period of time during this item for comments regarding the topic of stormwater. Each person addressing the Board of Supervisors is asked to limit their comments to a maximum of 3 minutes. Do you have anybody here who would like to speak on this particular issue? Okay, thank you. Next on the agenda is our WEJA Executive Director, Michael Sherp. Michael, you want to come up there and present? Good to see you again, buddy.
Nice to see you.
Okay.
I think most everybody here on the board, the township, knows me. For those that don't, my name's Michael Sherb. I'm currently the operations manager of the East Washington Joint Authority. I'm here on behalf of the authority. I was made aware of the November 28th meeting where the Quarry Pump Station was a topic with the board and the township. I wanted to come here and introduce myself, give you a description of what WEJA is, how we interact with all of our service communities, South Strabane being one of them, and what we do to provide the essential service of wastewater treatment, collection, conveyance, and treatment for all of our service communities. So the Washington East Washington Joint Authority is a municipal authority, and it was formed in 1945 by the city of Washington and the borough of East Washington. We have a 5-person board. 4 board members are appointed by the city of Washington, and 1 board member is appointed by the borough. The reason that the authority was formed was to transfer all of the wastewater infrastructure and treatment systems that the city of Washington had previously built for the city, and the facilities that the borough of East Washington built to serve the borough. And back in 1945, they formed the authority, transferred all of those sewer pipes, interceptor lines, and the wastewater treatment plant that's located down in Arden to the East Washington Joint Authority. As the surrounding communities developed and required sanitary sewer service, they put in and installed their own sewers, and through that process, turned those facilities over to us, the East Washington Joint Authority, to operate and maintain. During the 70s, the Clean Water Act came about, and a lot of South Strabane Township was developed during that period. Your engineer was Duncan Linnaeus and Associates. Joe Lignays was your engineer, the principal in that firm, and perhaps the godfather of wastewater treatment in Western Pennsylvania. I had the great opportunity to know Joe Lignays. He was a great engineer and a great man. But Joe worked, Duncan Linnaeus and Associates worked for South Strabane Township Sanitary Authority, an authority that your township formed to take care of the wastewater needs of your community. Sewers were installed a number of ways. Some were installed under EPA projects that were funded by the Clean Water Act. Some were installed by private developers. The quarry area was a combination of both. Mr. Sherman Siegel did a development there, and he had his own sewers and his own wastewater treatment plant that was privately held, his own NPDES permit, and he collected and treated the wastewater from his development and discharged it until a time where public sewage service was available. That was done under an EPA project in the late 70s, early 80s, which built the quarry pump station and sewered the remainder of the watershed that's there today. Since that time, there have been a number of small extensions up Lakeview Drive. There's been an extension on East Bow Street. All these projects, Floral Hill project, which is provide grinder pump service to Floral Hill, as well as your road department and the park. All these projects were done by the South Strabane Township Sanitary Authority. Those systems, once they're built and the debt service is paid, they're turned over to us to own, operate, and maintain for their life. We begin to maintain them from the time that they're built. We assume ownership after the debt service is paid. Okay? We as an authority do not extend sewer service in any of the townships or the city or the borough. We simply own, operate, and maintain what each community decides on their own. And that decision is conducted through the Act 537 sewage facilities planning process. Okay. There were a lot of questions from the supervisors of your engineer regarding the quarry pump station. And I'm here to answer any questions that you may have regarding any of the pump stations in your system. We own, operate, and maintain 12 pump stations. 10 of those serve South Strabane Township. 9 of those 10 serve South Strabane Township exclusively, with 1 serving part of Chartiers and part of South Strabane. Okay? That's tactic. Chartiers Township wants to continue growing in that watershed, and they're currently working on plans to expand the capacity of that pump station to serve the needs of Chartiers Township. And I believe they've been in contact with you as well to see what your needs are and to share that effort. But I'm also here to invite you to our office at 2 Wilson Avenue at any time and date that is convenient for the supervisors. You're all welcome. I'd be glad to sit down and go over with you your service area, our digital map, our budgets, what we do, how we do it, give you a tour of the facilities, give you a tour of the wastewater treatment plant. It's an impressive operation. And I'd like to take the opportunity to tell you all of the facilities in South Strabane Township are 100% functional and operate at the standards they were designed to. The Quarry Pump Station in particular was built in the early 80s. It went online, I believe, in 1984. That's almost 40 years old. It pumps today what it pumped on day 1 of its operation.
All right.
I have my plant superintendent, Brian McKnight.
Hi, Brad.
Brian and his group of 5 employees take care of our wastewater treatment plant and all 12 pump stations. I have a crew of 7 that maintains the collection systems for 7 different communities. The City of Washington, the Borough of East Washington, Amwell Township, Kennedy Township, Chartiers Township, South Strabane Township, and North Franklin Township. So we have thousands of miles of sewer line, 6,000 manholes, 12 pump stations. We do have I&I. We have I&I everywhere, even in our newest parts of the system. But I'm here to offer any or answer any questions that you may have about any part of your sources.
I'll ask the first question.
Sure.
The makeup of a board are people who live in Washington and East Washington, right?
Yes.
Is there, as we develop along the way, is there any idea to expand it to other nearby townships to have representation?
There has been discussions of it in the past. That's not something that I can answer. It would need to be something that would have to be taken up with our board and
The guidelines are firm right now, it's East Washington and Washington, you must reside, right?
No. It's basically you either reside or you reside
you're
in
appointed.
extent, or according to Municipal Authorities Act, you can be appointed if you're from South Strabane or North Franklin.
Well, you can.
Yes, that's the law.
I didn't know that. Who makes the appointments?
The city council and the borough council.
Okay. By the way, call Brandon at first of the year and set up a thing. I speak for myself. I'm sure we'll come over. We'll visit your office. If you can give us all that explanation, we'll find out the ins and outs of everything.
There were some flow numbers that were thrown out related to the quarry pump station that are not accurate. The 1.6 million gallon per day rate. I just want you to know that number was a theoretical number from a hydraulic model that was input into the model, making a number of assumptions that aren't necessarily achievable or accurate.
What's the capacity of the pump station?
The pump station capacity is 504,000 gallons per day.
And how many EDUs is that?
Divide that by 400.
Okay, so you got your fancy phone?
I do.
What's it say? What is it? Is there?
Let me get my phone
The
out.
reason why I asked the question, I'm sorry, forget it, I'm just joking. Is there enough capacity to serve that proposed development?
No.
So it would have to be upsized.
Yes.
Is there enough capacity in the line going along that, from that pump station to wherever, to transport it? Is there enough, what capacity is in the sewage lines? Leading up to the pump-
capacity of the existing force main is, the existing force main is 8-inch.
Okay,
That is from the bottom of Quarry Road up to the top of Floral Hill where it intersects with Route 136.
okay,
That's where it pumps to. That line is 8 inches. It has a carrying capacity of about 1.2 million gallons per day under normal engineering design practice.
is that enough to service that
Yes,
proposed development?
it is.
But the problem is the pump station.
No, the problem is the pumps have a capacity to pump 350 gallons per minute.
Okay,
That's the rate at which the pumps pump.
but is there enough capacity in that pump station to provide service to that sewage, to that development, sloppy development?
Currently, no.
Okay, that's the question I've asked.
Yes, but the force main can carry it if the pumps are increased.
All right, so the pump station has to be updated.
The pumps have to be
Correct.
changed and,
Correct.
yes, there are a number of modifications that have to be made to the pump station.
Who's responsible for if you want to improve the pump station? Is it going to be the developer?
Capacity improvements are handled by two entities, the developer themselves or the municipal entity that you have the right under state law to do your own sewage facilities planning. And that's the right of you as a township to do that. You previously had the sanitary authority take care of that for you. That's what they did. And they've done a number of projects. I mean, dozens through the last 10, 20 years.
Now, the developer was talking about getting grant money. Is that up to us or is that up to the developer to look for that grant money?
If I can make a comment, it should be the developer, because they're the ones asking for the development.
Yeah, I mean, typically the developer bears the cost of their development.
Right now, I'm doing another township, we have development going on, they want to improve the highway to have access. So what we're doing is putting the onus of that increased cost to improve the road on the developer.
But there are public-private partnerships that do occur. There are some municipalities that choose to say, we have a comprehensive plan and we want this area to develop into residential, the residential developments. But to do that, sewage has to come. And they undertake that. Any costs that are expended are recovered by tap-in fees and assessments. There are means to recover the costs that are outlaid by the government. And your solicitor is more than capable of going through that with you. He's done it all over there.
I built and involved with hundreds of millions of dollars with the soil water, so I know what to do.
But the costs are recoverable as people come online. They pay you back.
To jump in and interrupt, but we have the first person jumping in on the Floral Hill line that we need to talk about. So it's going to be coming in the next month. I'd love to have the conversation if you want to.
Sure. You have my cell number, my office number, right? But we're always here, we're a partner with your township. You are one of our service communities, one of 7. We value
Mike, I hate to bug you about this, but who named the 7?
the city of Washington,
Okay,
the borough of East Washington,
okay,
Amwell Township, Canton Township, Chartiers Township, North Franklin Township, and South Strabane Township.
okay, good. You got those?
We serve all of those.
Yeah,
communities.
Good, thank you. Tell me.
But we do not extend sewage in any of them. That's either done by the developer or the municipal.
Sort of like we did in Long Beach a couple of years ago.
Yes.
Exactly what we did on Floral.
Exactly.
Yeah, I just want to say 25 years of working, public works and Weezer.
Mhm.
You got a first-class group. Good work.
We have very skilled employees.
Sometimes
we
when
do.
I call you, it's
Brian
not
has,
always good.
34 years. How many?
31 years.
31. He's worked all over the country in our business.
I can say every time I pick the phone up. Oh, it's great. It is. You got a good group.
We appreciate that. And I want the supervisors to know that we're a partner with you. We're available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. My cell phone, you all have it. And if you don't, Brandon can give it to you. I answer it 24 hours a day. I'm on call 24/7, so is he.
Okay.
So,
Anyone else have any questions?
Other than when we were talking to the engineer, he was talking to us, he talked about 2.8 million for the quarry pump station, and then he said, the manifold's gonna need upgraded at some point in time, and then he said, oh yeah, by the way, Pancake's gonna need upgraded too. Do you have any enlighten me on those by any chance?
part of the Pancake area is served by the laboratory pump station. It's on Van Station Road, below Billy Bell Park. That station, there's very little development up there. There was some interest by the redevelopment authority to do a small project on a parcel that would go to that watershed. I think it was 15 EDUs. The station was built in the late 60s, early 70s. All of the pumps, the generator system, everything works, but it's antiquated. As it needs upgraded and updated, we take care of that as the owner, operator, and maintainer of that system. But we don't typically add in the extra capacity for future development. I don't know what development would drive a necessary capacity upgrade for that station. Maybe Rob knows something I don't.
It may have been, he thought we had to maintain it too.
No, we take
If you
care
guys
of it.
maintain it, we're not developing it, we don't have to worry about Pancake pump station.
Yeah, we haven't seen it.
Thank you.
Mr. Burns, you have any questions?
I do not. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Burns. Anyone else? Thank you very much, Mike.
Okay.
And don't forget, call Brandon first of the year, and see if we get over there.
Sure.
I'd like to see what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
We'd like to have you.
Okay, thanks very much.
Thank you for your time.
Merry Christmas, Mike.
Merry Christmas.
Okay, buddy. Township manager, anything else?
Thank you, Mike, again. Secretary Treasurer reports.
Okay. Okay,
I have some questions on that Secretary Treasurer's report.
okay.
You can have, you probably don't have it, I have it on my computer. Can you explain why the checking account's in the hole? $369,000.
No, I'll have to take a look at it.
Clerical mistake or error like that?
I don't know.
It is not. Oh. On the,
We do have checks cut for MMO that will be going out shortly. So those checks have been cut. We just manage cash flow towards the end of the year. So maybe that's why that says that.
correct, which, can I have that back for a while?
Yeah.
I wrote it on there. So one check's 399,000, the other check's 152,000. That's like $1.5 million. If we don't have any money in our, where are we gonna come up with $500,000 at, or $500,500?
There's some funding that we could move, and there's part that is available right now.
So ARPA is the American Agri.
American Rescue Plan Fund.
we'll come back to that later. We'll discuss the budget. Oh, yeah, I guess, hold on here. The profit and loss is showing that we have 2,150,000. If we don't have any money in the checking account, how could this show we have $2 million?
Probably showing from several accounts, maybe the sewer as well.
Well, as a supervisor, there's two things I look at. I look at this and see what we are, which I don't like. I don't like that the TIF, that $100,000 or that $1 million is in there. That's just a pass through, so that makes us look like we have a lot of money. But I mean, we take that out. I don't know. I would like to clean these up a little bit. The profit and loss, I mean, I look at that and it's telling me that we have $2,150,000 and I'm thinking we're good, but then I see the checking account's got a negative number and that really concerns me. The other one we do get, I would like, and I know, I would like for Jana to start holding quarterly meetings with the department head to go over their budgets so that they can keep track of it. Back to the supervisors, just like, I don't know why you didn't inform us that she's holding 2 checks for that kind of money and we don't have the money. That's something that I think the supervisor should know. It's just my opinion. Okay, onward.
Thanks, Jim. Township solicitor, you have anything to?
Been involved with some minor issues involving litigation and also some planning issues, and that's about it.
Township engineer, well, I don't think, yeah, okay. I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Go ahead.
A community park, KLH completed the as-built of the force main for potential adoption by WeChat. Burkett Manor, KLH has an inspector on site ensuring storm road sanitary are being built to the township standards and the approved plan. Time spent on sanitary work is being billed separately to WeChat. 2023 LSA grant applications, community park overflow lot, requesting $40,300 in grant funding with $29,200 in township match to expand the parking of the community park. LSA has indicated that due to the date of purchase agreement through CoStars, this application would not be eligible for LSA funds. Project briefings will be scheduled for mid-January. At 537 update, KLH anticipates delivery of a draft report by the end of December. A workshop meeting will be held with members of the staff, supervisors, and planning commission to review and analyze the document. H2O PA grant applications. The grant application is being finalized for submission to the Commonwealth Financing Authority for upgrades to the Quarry Road Pump Station. Total project estimate is $2,732,437. The application will be for 50% grant funding with 50% township match. And we are currently reviewing the Norris land development and the associated Gold Mill plan number 5. They're still in the plan.
Good report. Anyone have any questions, engineer? I don't know if you heard that or not, Mr. Burns. You kind of talk kind of low, so, okay, good. Okay, very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And before we leave this section, it's not part of the agenda. I forgot to recognize you, our financial analyst, and I want people to know you're also here this evening, okay? Okay, unfinished business, number 8. Letter A is going to remain on the table. Letter B, I need a motion to remove this from the table so we can talk about it. You have a motion, please, on letter B?
I'll make that motion.
Thanks, Mr. Lukatich. I need a second.
Second.
All those in favor of removing this item from the table, would you please indicate by saying aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 5-0. Okay, Mr. Standing, will you brief us on this particular item?
Sure. October 20th, the township received the application for preliminary and final minor subdivision for Leanne George, for the Leanne George Planet Lots, located at 625 Florida Drive. The property is approximately 16.77 acres. It's currently approved as a single-family dwelling occupied by the applicant and an accessory frame requirement. The property is served by an on-lot septic tank. The applicant wishes to subdivide the property into two lots, lot 1 and lot 2, as on the plan. Lot 1 will be approximately 11.65 acres in size and contain the principal structure, accessory structure. Lot 2 will be approximately 5.11 acres in size and encompass the creek. Line of subdivision will roughly track with the creek staying along the back. There was a, Dennis, I'm going to give more information on this. There was a restricted covenant on the deed, and that's why this was tabled last month regarding for the subdivision of the property within a certain amount of time. That restricted covenant has been corrected and recorded. I believe you're like.
Spoke to the attorney, Bernardelli, and basically, I think she sent me something Monday. And I think it's fine. I said the deed looks fine to get recorded. I understand sometime late today, they must have dropped it off with you.
Yeah.
With Mr. Sutter. I looked at the deed. The deed is fine from my perspective. I'll have something for her to sign probably by Thursday or Friday, and then the matter's over. Saying basically that she understands that, she'll hold, if there's any issue in the future, she'll hold us on.
So we can pass it before she signs it? Is that what you're telling us? I mean,
I would
want to do that, but.
I don't know, we don't want to do that.
I would rather have it signed first, but
Put it
that's,
on the table, put it back on the table.
You have a condition upon it being signed.
you can make if you want to make a
We can do
motion
that,
to,
to
if
do
you
it.
want to make a motion
We can do
to
that.
approve it, subject to them signing. Here's the motion. A motion to approve the subdivision, subject to the applicant signing an agreement to the satisfaction of the township supervisor, township solicitor. It's been a long day. I had two conditional use hearings where I came here. Subject to the satisfaction of the township solicitor. That should be your motion.
Okay,
So
so
moved.
make that motion.
I'll second.
Discussion.
Discussion,
We got one discussion on it.
okay.
And this is on Floral Hill. We talked about this before, me and you. Why did they not tie into the public source system? How do they still have an on-lot system?
They did. It's just the subdivision would have indicated and noted that. Okay.
Okay.
But they did, we verified that.
You said that, but it says right here, served by an on-lot septic tank.
And
Yeah.
it's gone through Egypt and they've approved.
Okay,
They did connect. They did.
okay, got it.
Okay, that's it.
Yeah, I just was curious
Okay,
why.
let's have a vote on this, okay? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Okay, letter C, that's going to remain on the table. Letter D remains on the table. Under new business, consideration of an application for preliminary and final land development from X-Style LLC, DBA Dillon Renovations for a building addition located at 1150 Washington Road in the C2 zoning district. Mr. Stanek, briefly.
November 7th, the township received an application from X-Style LLC for preliminary final land development approval for the building expansion facility at 1150 Washington Road in the C2 zoning district. The property is approximately 2.44 acres in size, currently occupied by a two-story office building, 14 on-street parking spaces. What they desire to do is undertake primarily interior renovations. However, the plans indicate in triggered land development review required because the footprint of the principal structure is changing, being expanded to contain a stairwell at the rear of the structure and decreasing the right side yard setback to the 10-foot minimum. Applicants submitted the land development plan, which also revealed they wish to add 14 parking spaces for a total of 28 parking spaces. Building expansions approximately 218 square feet in size, not as impervious surface added for under parking expansion of about 2,268 square feet. Planning Commission recommended approval subject to the outstanding engineer comments being addressed.
You explained to the folks here, where is this building?
This building is, if you're at the light at the speedway,
Is it your building?
Yes.
Oh,
Well, not my building, I'm the general contractor.
Well, tell me where it is.
It's about a half a mile up this way on the right-hand side.
Next to
So
what?
up from Export.
It's next to Speedway and Davis School Road. It's in between there.
Yeah. It's in
On
between
the west
way
side of the,
and
what would that be, the east side of the town?
It's on this side of the road.
Right?
So, yeah, you said.
Rail- rail-
It looks like a house.
It looks like a house, it's a white brick building.
Starbucks, right?
Right, it's Starbucks.
Starbucks.
Starbucks, that Starbucks building?
Yes.
I'm unfamiliar, I'm just a general contractor, I'm not the owner.
Is it the building or what?
What's that? The big white houses there.
Starbucks.
That's an office building. That's Starbucks. Starbucks office building.
That's, it's a two-story residence, 96,000 square foot.
Okay. That's it. Yeah.
Okay. Then the note, everybody knows. Anything else, Brendan?
No.
Okay, anything you want to add? Anything you want to add to
I was
this?
here to answer any questions. I've addressed some things with the fire alarm system that were having designed by an engineer. I believe Scott had recommended a spreader system at the new parking that we're incorporating. Other than that, I was just here to answer any questions.
Anyone have any questions? Any questions? Okay, need a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion.
Thanks, Mr. Murphy. Need a second. Thanks, Mr. Lukatich. Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Next item of business, a motion approving the proposed 2023 annual budget. Mr. Stanek, give us a briefing, please.
Sure, so the tentative budget was approved by the board on November 28th. Final budgets hereby submitted for the board's consideration. General fund in the amount of $5,607,195 plus $1.21 million in interfund transfers. To the fuels fund in the amount of $405,000. Newly established fire protection fund is in the amount of $939,698. Becoming projections, revenues, expenditures, and fund balances are provided to show current economic trends, could and may influence our future cash balances and tax rates. Moving down, we have revenues. The general fund budget projects $6.9 million in total revenues plus interfund transfers and budgets $6.3 million. The $6,368,000 in expenditures for 2023. Revenues include $1.321 million in interfund transfers, $610,273 of which is from the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021, distributed to local governments in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. At the onset, ARPA funds were changed for specific purposes. However, over time, the U.S. Treasury Department has provided final guidance allowing ARPA to be used for general purposes. Desire of the board to use ARPA funds to fulfill general operating expenses in conjunction with establishing a fire protection tax in the amount of $0.75 million, which seeks to increase the township's fund balance to minimize current and future risks, continue to provide public services at a level of communities under effective demand, depend on and follow through on a commitment to residents and businesses to provide fire and EMS services, meet the expectations while fulfilling its responsibility to second-class township code to ensure the services are adequately provided to the township. The general fund is supported using tax and non-tax revenue sources, which include the real estate tax and the establishment of fire tax. The real estate tax will be maintained at $1.1 million for a total projection of $1,376,022 based on a property value of $200,000. A household would pay approximately $220 for general public services. Establishment of a fire tax in 2023 at a rate of $0.75 million for a total projection of $958,198. Based on the property value of $200,000, a household will pay approximately $150 or $1,250 per month for 24/7 fire protection and EMS services from both a combination volunteer and career department. The total millage for the township will be levied at $1.85 million for a total of $370 based on the property value of $200,000. As of 2023, the township will only comprise 9.86% of the household's tax bill. This is an increase from 6.91%, accounting for Trinity School District's tax levy for its 22-23 fiscal year, which was also at the time of publication. The average millage rate for our neighboring Washington County communities, very great in the services they do provide, is 1.2176. established by Washington County, our 2023 assessed taxable valuation of all property in the township is $1,251 million, an increase of 0.52% over 2022. Additionally, township accounts for 6.8% of the total taxable assessed value in the entire Washington County, which is the amount of 18, countywide, the amount is 18.3 million. We are also served by, supported by local enabling taxes, our per capita real estate transfer tax, earned income, and mercantile local services taxes. Significant non-tax revenue sources for 2023 are always license, permits, fines, forfeitures, intergovernmental sources, general government, public safety, miscellaneous revenue. 2023 revenue projections also based on township's comprehensive fee schedule. Changes proposed for 2023 include modest increase of $50 for residential and commercial zoning variance applications, change in fee structure for subdivision fees, distinguishing between a minor and major subdivision, and increasing the minor subdivision escrow requirement to 1,000. Establishing a specific escrow for planned residential development in the amount of 5,000. Increasing occupancy permit fees from 150 to 250, an increase from 75 to 100 for above ground pools, changing the fee for in-ground pools. An increase from 75 to 100 for above ground pools, changing the fee for in-ground pools, both residential and commercial, from 150 to 75 cents per square foot. And in place of a flat fee of $75 per deck, require a fee of 0.75 cents per square foot. We seeking with this to also establish parity between the building code appeal application with those applications related to zoning and planning by eliminating the 100 flat fee and requiring a 1,000 escrow and a $500 non-refundable application fee. Those things don't happen very often, if ever. Increasing fire inspection fee reflective of the size of the structure. So for up to 5,000 square feet, a 50% increase to $75, and for greater than 100,000 square feet, a 50% increase to $750. Changing the structure and cost for false alarm fees that seek to incent businesses to reach compliance in a more timely manner, and a change in the athletic field rental rates for organized groups from a per day rental to a per hour fee. Change in fee structure reflects the demand for an increase in the number of organizations joining the township facilities, as well as the costs for public works in the township to maintain. We have other funds that are non-tax revenues from the township. We have projected for gaming 162,000 Act 13 gas well projection of 350,000. Act 13 is a combination formula used by the state that depends on the average of natural gas prices over the course of the year. We also have an Act 101 recycling fund anticipated bringing in about 30,000 after the first of the year. Park and rec fund of 27,250. Liquid fuels fund of 355,000. Units 2 fire release fund of 43,007. Additionally, those revenues from these funds are being used to not only support operational costs that are typically covered by the general fund, but also special projects that are eligible and qualify under certain requirements. And so we have expenditures. We talk about general fund expenditures for 2023, $6,368,000, decrease of 6.24% from 2022. This change in the general fund is the direct result of establishing the fire protection fund, minimizing the impact on the general fund by covering wages and benefits of firefighter personnel and for purchasing fire apparatus. The decrease in general fund expenses is realized despite an 8% increase in employee medical insurance, 3 to 5% wage increases for non-sworn personnel. Projected increase of 5% for police officers, non-uniform pension contributions, capital expenditures of $186,203, and minimum municipal obligations for police fire. We talked about a couple other things with personnel services, including wages and benefits and insurance. So personnel changes planned for 2022, planned for 2023, excuse me, including the hiring of one part-time that sentence reads wrong. Personnel changes planned for 2023 include Continue to include one part-time building inspector at a reduced number of hours, hiring a pool of part-time firefighters in place of 2 new full-time hires. Let me read that again. That sentence was in there. I apologize. So changes to personnel for 2023 include reduced hours for the part-time building inspector and increasing the roster for part-time firefighters to 6 without increasing costs for part-time. Additionally, in 2022, the township successfully recruited Fire Chief George Kramer to lead our combination department. With the accomplishment, the board will provide 24/7 fire and EMS services. Fall 2022, the township recruited the finance director, Jana Luke, further enhancing the role of finance and administration. Wage increases to adjust for the union anniversary increase to the prior year, comparing the 5-year public police contract. Merit increases for non-union staff. Shortly after launching the township's K-9 unit with Officer Zankovich, K-9 Officer Tornado passed away due to medical complications. Generous donation from the Washington Auto Mall, the township is able to continue the program with new K-9 Officer Wright. Overall, medical benefits will increase to 8% in 2023. Those overall costs have been minus 2020. At the time, the township was successful in restructuring the medical plan offered to union employees of public works and fire departments, as well as non-union staff, by introducing an electric plan of $750/$1,500. The township paying for the first percent of the deductible, increasing the employee contribution to plan premium costs. Additionally, the township continues to provide employees an opt-out provision should they have access to other insurance. As a result of anticipated 2023 police contract, sworn personnel will move to $250,500 deductible plan medical insurance contributions, 12.5%. The projects that we accomplished last year, the board had passed an ordinance requiring building and life safety inspections on some of all non-residential structures. These new requirements enhances the public safety efforts of the township, ensuring that all commercial structures maintain compliance with our building and fire codes upon new occupancies. This is made possible with the increased coordination efforts of the building department, the fire department, and the land use planning and zoning functions overseen by the administration department. At the end of 2021, the Board of Supervisors discontinued the South Strabane Sanitary Authority for the purpose of improving efficiencies and financing of sewer systems and expanding capacity of existing lines, eliminating duplication of services, streamlining processes for development, and consolidating the oversight and control of development under the Board of Supervisors. Township completed the necessary upgrade of manifold sewer force main. Construction costs of $904,000 covered by a decent small sewer and water grant that had previously been obtained by the sanitary authority, and contribution from the Burger Manor developer, and the future contribution from the Meadows Landing developer once earth moving activities start, which increases sewer capacity to serve the township over the next 12 to 15 years. Without completion of the project, additional sewer taps could not be issued for new residential and or commercial developments in the 19. Over the summer, the township also completed the Tango Boulevard resurfacing project, cost of $608,000. The project received financial support through a Washington County local share grant in the amount of $440,000 to develop a contribution of capital expenditures and investment for the upcoming year. Administration, pursuing a fixed asset register in the amount of $12,000. Engaging a consultant that will help us establish values for all public assets owned by the municipality. Important step in meeting governmental accounting standards of work compliance. The ASB is the source of generally accepted principles used by state and local governments in the United States. Staff will continue to improve upon communications with residents, publishing a newsletter. Budget of $12,000 for stormwater MS4. So next week, the township will be preparing to update and resubmit its 5-year MS4 permit to the Department of Environmental Protection. Cost of $25,000. Sewer infrastructure. Township will complete an update to the 1998 Act 537 sewer facilities plan in the amount of $25,000 from the sewer fund. Public Works, lease to own option for front end loader. We'll pay that off next year in $46,000. Lease to own option for 2022 at $100,000. Second year, $40,300. Park and Recreation, we have community park overflow parking extension project in the amount of $41,300. Consistent with our 2021 Community Park Master Plan. Now, LSA grant has been submitted for the project with an announcement sometime anticipated for the first quarter of 2023. Police leased an option for 2022 issue 4 interceptors at a total cost of $41,533. Lease to own option for a new 2023 issue 4 interceptor at a cost of $16,150. We also have the final payment on the F-150 K9 squad in the amount of $13,176. And Chief Oak, continuing with his intersection camera program using county forfeiture funds. Plan for $28,500. Also, in addition, with Department of Labor's body armor. Chief, did you want to, excuse me, did you want to comment on the good news we heard a couple days ago?
Yes. Quickly, applied for and received a competitive grant through the PCCP. Got notice in the last week that received $57,000 towards our intersection camera project, which is more encompassed in what we call the Western Pennsylvania traffic camera project. It's an area of more than 100 municipalities all involved in this. So we're happy that we can contribute and buy in a little more. We get great successes from this. It really helps in our investigations. Thank you.
Thank you.
For fire, we have a purchase of some turnout gear and other equipment, $13,000. Down payment for a rescue truck in the amount of $91,190. Made in 2023 from the Fire Protection Fund, as well as Contribution Capital Fund, in the amount of $95,487 for an aerial ladder truck planned for delivery in 2026. Radios and pagers in the amount of $4,500. Lease to own option for Ford F-150 command vehicle and Ford Explorer chief response vehicle, $7,500 each. Liquid fuels, we have a paving and seal coating for the upcoming year, $210,000. Seemed to sit nice with snow, nice removal at 120, street lights, $25,000. Stormwater replacement and maintenance, $40,000. The Township's 2022 minimum municipal obligations total $619,820, which $252,008 was paid using general fund revenues. The 2023 memo is $644,916. It's about a 4% increase over 2022. So, without the coordination ability of the Township Department heads, administrative staff, the oversight of the Board of Supervisors, we appreciate everybody's help in bringing this document to closure and getting in front of the board. Thank you.
Take a deep breath. Okay, very good. Okay. Hey, anybody want to wait till I pass the motion, or you want to?
No, I make a motion to accept the budget.
Okay, thank you, Mr.
We'll do that before we can discuss.
Okay, right, need a second, please.
I'll second it.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Lukatich. Any discussion or any statements made concerning the proposed 2023 annual budget before we call to question?
Discussion on it?
Yes. Well,
Yes, I do have discussions on it. So I'm gonna start off with last year, in the budget that I have. I'm just curious, like the total revenues and transfers in was $6,184,000. I'll round it off. Expenditures were $6,736,000. That means we lost 500. Well, a half a million plus last year. My question is, I would have never voted on a budget that wasn't balanced, that was showing we were gonna lose money. And what I'm going on is the budgeted here on this particular here. I'm questioning, they changed, because then Rich brought me his budget from last year, and it's not the same as what's on here. So I'm curious of how, I'm just curious of why.
I noticed a couple of discrepancies myself, so I have to look into that.
All right. Well, that's one, I think we need a new system for budgeting versus QuickBooks. I went to my accountant today to actually go over this, and he said QuickBooks is junk.
I agree.
I think another thing that may help is if we start let Jana handle the budget next year.
I agree.
That is her forte, I believe. Or bring an accountant in to do it. because there's just too many discrepancies that aren't jiving to me.
We have Cypher and Cypher do our audit.
They
every
audit
year,
us.
And maybe they should be involved in doing our, helping us with our budget also. Because I've looked at the past 2 years and our general fund balance keeps going down and they make a recommendation, but we're really not following what they're saying. 'Cause they point out 3 different ways to correct that problem. It's either raise taxes, cut services. Yeah, we're not doing that. Presently, we're doing a fire tax, but that's mostly for the fire department. On the other side of our budget, we're using that COVID relief fund, $600,000. Next year, we're not gonna have that, so we're already $600,000 in the hole for the 2024 budget. Where's that money gonna come from? And now we're looking at 2 trucks for the fire department. That's gonna cost us $250,000 a year. So you need close to $1 million right there for the budget. So, something's gotta give in the township because we're looking at going broke.
You done? Can I keep going?
Go for it, buddy. Hit it.
Start budgeting earlier next year. And as I said, I've talked to you before about this. We need a 5 or 10-year plan for capital, like what kind of trucks Russ needs, police cars, fire trucks, so that we can budget for that in the future. And when you were going through this, I'm kind of lost because you had in there that the police were getting a car this year and Russ was getting a truck. I thought we were not.
No, we're not.
We're not, right?
No,
They're not getting anything.
that's the second payment on the 2022 lease.
You already have a 600,
Well,
F600.
we're still waiting on it, but yeah,
Oh,
that
you
was.
don't even.
Yeah, we were expecting that.
All right, I got it. I didn't know you had, I haven't seen one, that's why I'm like, but,
Oh,
so we're paying on it, but you don't have it. Got it. I would like to meet with the department heads, like next week sometime, so we can sit down and ask them for creative ways to maybe save some money. Find some new ways to get revenue from the commercial district, tankers, old mills, Trinity Point, Strabane Square, hotels, etc. I know Dennis gave us an impact fee. But I thought the impact fee you said was good for police and
There's something,
everything.
I told Mike to look at it.
Okay.
He just came back from vacation.
And the other one that really concerns me more than anything, because you said it, and I said we are in the hole now, that you're gonna take some of the ARPA money. So, and I don't know how much, but if you take 300,000 of the ARPA money to pay off those bills from 2022, but we're budgeting for 2023, we're already in the hole. Or like, you can't take money that you have budgeted for 2023 and use it to pay bills for 2022. You're going down a rabbit hole. We're sinking fast. I think I agree with Rich, the 610 is not gonna be there next year. He's gonna want another truck and a tractor. He's gonna want 1 or 2 more cars. They're not in this budget. So somehow, I'm voting for his budget, but I'm not happy with it. I'll just leave it at that.
And we only have a couple projects, one in the township right now, we're looking at the Menards. We can make money there, but other than that, there's not much going on in the township, so we have no money coming in. So it's either you're looking at another tax increase next year, or you're gonna cut services. So.
Or we find some other creative way to get money in, and that's, I don't know, that's Brandon's job.
Anything else?
Nope, I'm done, sir. Thank you.
Anything, Rich?
No.
Okay, Russ? Okay, let's,
You want, Judy wants,
Julie, no, there's no discussion. No, you had your chance. Oh, there's your chance. No question. No, you don't, that's it. This is supervisor work. Okay, we have a motion. Mr. Bernard, I didn't get a chance. Do you have any comments?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, motion, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor of approving the proposed 2023 annual budget as presented, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Letter C. Resolution amending the comprehensive fee schedule. Mr. Stanek, you want to brief us on that? Oh, Jimmy?
I don't have that in front of me right now.
Okay. So we have a comprehensive fee schedule, memorandum explaining some of the changes in the fee schedule. I guess the easiest, I went over that during the budget message. Are there any questions?
No, I have no question. Maybe some
I'm
other
just
fellows
looking
do.
down through, my only question was, and I'm there again. Is the park and rec there is really good. That's Reynolds. I was looking for the ball fields. I just thought $30 an hour was a little bit high for, so if you rent it out for 4 hours, it's gonna cost $120 to the youth organization. Looking at it.
Correct.
On my side from, since I be one of the organization of the use of it.
No, thank you.
25 bucks a day before.
Thank you.
Now it's gonna be 125 bucks or 120. That's just a little high.
I did have a conversation with Mr. King, who is, I think we had met with him.
Yes, we
We
did.
talked about scheduling. He did express the concern with that as well. So if the board is interested in reducing that, with $15 an hour, I would offer that as a.
I would take that as a concession. Yeah, I mean, it's for kids. I don't, yeah. Oh, you want a motion to approve the fee
Yeah.
schedule? Make that
You
motion.
wanna-
He's going to the restroom.
Okay, that's all right. Yeah, we can
That
still,
change?
we can still do it.
Yeah, with that change.
Yeah, with that particular change, let's write that down.
And you may want to take a look at that. There again, what was it, $50 for the multi-use field? I thought might be a little bit steep for rec soccer leagues. 4 hours, that's $200 for a day to rent. Just think that's pretty steep.
If we wanted, I would say 20, that just is a larger facility.
Oh, when Rich comes back, I'll make the motion
Okay.
with those two changes.
We didn't do anything with cross-country travel, just got one, I'm sure.
Yeah, we have, that was, did we put a fee in for cross-country? Because we have the,
Their update for next meeting.
okay. We had that issue when the ball teams were playing, well, softball and cross-country was going on. We couldn't find a parking place in the park.
All activities have to be scheduled through the front desk.
Well,
They can't just show up.
Well, cross-country, the other ones are, if you're using the field or if you have to schedule it. The cross-country trail is where the problem come in.
They're not scheduled.
IC or whoever's using would just show up in 2 buses and
Well, they were, and then all of a sudden they
Right.
stopped. So that needs to be looked into.
Would it be advisable to table this motion until we get all these fees in a format that everybody's happy with?
I would offer that the groups are waiting to schedule. We've kept that off.
so you want a table?
No, they're waiting to schedule. We're waiting to get into the program to schedule. So we've tried to hold that off until the fees.
Do you hear that, Mr. Burns?
I did not.
Okay, say that again, Brett.
So there are groups that are looking to schedule soon for the coming spring. So what we want to, I wanted to get the fee schedule in before we, I guess,
Okay,
unlock that.
fine.
We can come back in January and fix the
Cross-country.
trail.
So I'll make a motion to accept the comprehensive fee scale with the ball fields being reduced to $15 an hour and the multi-purpose field being reduced to $20 an hour.
Second.
Bracken seconded.
Thank you, Mr. Burns. Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion to amend the comprehensive fee schedule, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Letter D, motion appointing 4 part-time firefighters. Mr. Stanek?
There's a motion presented for the board in appointing Mr. William Cummings, Mr. Mitchell Wattis, Mr. Travis McVeigh, and Mr. Patrick Donlin as part-time firefighters. Currently, the township utilizes part-time positions and the position is vacant. Township's most recent firefighter recruitment process generated 16 applicants, 14 of which tested. Following physical fitness and written testing, 9 candidates were selected for interviews. The interview committee, which consists of Mr. Murphy, Mr. Lukatich, Chief Kramer, and myself, conducted the interviews, ranked the candidates on the basis of application material, which include years of experience, special skills, training, education, specifically paramedic qualifications, their entry exam score and oral interview score. So the initial plan was to enlarge the roster of part-timers to add 2 additional, bringing township 5 total. Following the interview process, ranking candidates, it is recommended the board appoint 1 additional part-time position for a total of 6. Part-time work, we have a budget set for 40,000. This just gives us a greater pool from which to pull from. For greater roster to pull from.
Motion to approve.
Make that motion.
Thanks, Mr. Murphy. Second, Mr. Grego. Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. Okay, let these blank. Motion approving the general liability insurance policy for the Strabane Fire Department. Mr. Stanek, any briefing on it?
Sure. On an annual basis, township covers the cost of insurance coverage for the Strabane Fire Department, combination department. Coverage is provided for property, mobile equipment, general liability, management liability, cyber liability, excess liability, commercial auto. It's all done by American Alternative Insurance Corp. Harvard steam boiler is also for any kind of equipment right now. Our premium this year increased by 2.83%, or $982, for a total of $35,630.
Make a motion to accept.
Thanks, Mr. Murphy. Second, please.
Second.
Thanks, Mr. Lukatich.
Discuss it real fast.
Any discussion, please?
Two things. This is just, I personally do this, Brandon. I don't know if you ever considered going over seeing how it would change the money, but I noticed that you have, everything's $500 deductibles. Do you ever think of going higher than that? I carry 5,000 on my stuff. It saves me tons of money.
That's what I do too. I do the
Saves me tons of money.
And I think that's what we did with general liability for the township.
I'm just throwing that out there and then I'm going to pick on 2 of you. So I do read these. So they list all the drivers and you 2 aren't on there. Are you guys close to getting your CDLs? I'm just asking. Isn't that one of the requirements to, or they missed you guys or?
They have,
You have them?
Yeah.
How come
they
they're
don't
not
have our
listed?
updated documentation for 23 yet. They based that based on that.
My fault.
Morning, Mr. Murphy. Get up to date.
I was just curious because I knew you had like so long. I just was curious you weren't on it. So make sure that's updated. That's it. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Murphy. Any other discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please indicate saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Letter G. Motion appointing Joanna Joseph to the Green Team.
Brian, do you want to?
Yes, I would like to, well, the motion hasn't been made. I'd like to make an amended motion, basically to appoint Joanna Joseph and her daughter Bristol as a team, if you will, to the Green Team. Her daughter is very active in environmental preservation and is a leader in butterfly preservation. And she's a young lady that I think we would be proud to have on the Green Team. And she's a good member of our community. So I so move.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Murphy. All those in favor, any discussion, please? All those in favor of the motion to approve those 2, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Need a motion to adjourn, please.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. Okay, good. All those in favor, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much, and thank you everyone for attending. Have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.